Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at another community replay, of course, because it is Saturday. If you'd like to send a replay to us, send it to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com and we will take a look at it. Please include your screenshots, the game itself, and a short description of what happened during the battle. So, in today's replay, we have a replay from the clan Impact, and more specifically, we have a replay from Slap himself. He is in a division with some of his buddies, Kami Samurai, who you may know from his various streams and other content that he creates, and as well as a very good destroyer player, Neltak, who is very notorious as being a very good nuisance in ranked. So they are kind of in a power division, I would say. They've got very good cap contesting potential with the Shimakaze and the Moskva combination, and they can also push in the Kerfurst if they need to with the Kerfurst. So very strong division we have here. In today's replay, Slap is using his Moskva. Now the Moskva is one of the better T10s, but it does have some glaring weaknesses. One being the concealment. The concealment is not very good. 13, I believe, is 13.2 kilometer detection. So it's not the best for a cruiser, but if you can get in situations like this where the destroyers decide not to be spotting and you sit behind an island, like Slap is doing here, you can do some very nice punishing for unexpected ships that do not pay attention. Like this Neptune, he is going to be turning out, and we are going to see how many citadels we can get. He goes undetected there, but I reckon that's only one, so I think he ended up staying a little bit more angled, or he turned in last moment, but either way, a very nice tactically, from a tactical perspective, not rushing in with your Moskva, because one thing that I have noticed while playing my Moskva is that sometimes you want to get in close at the early stages of the game to use your radar and kind of contest the caps and get an early cap, but sometimes you really have to be careful with that, because while the Moskva, it has a decent bow, when you show a little bit of side, it does not fare too well in the slightest. So this Kagero is definitely dead between all the other ships shooting at him. And oh well, I was gonna say he should be popping his radar pretty soon, but calculated if I've ever seen it myself. A very nice shot there, and Soviet bias is coming strong in this match thus far. So with that guy dead, we are going to be flanking these guys here that are entering the B cap most likely. At this point, maybe I would switch to AP, just for the fact that you could potentially radar this Neptune if he is in that little gap still. Fortunately for that Neptune, he did a little bit of a smarter play and was able to go behind the island a little bit more. So nice play by that Neptune. Grozavoy does get popped with radar. We're going to be shooting HE at him, of course, to break some modules. Nice 20, I think that was almost 3k damage. So very nice initial salvo out on him. He goes behind the island, so no more shooting at him. But at least we got some resets on that guy. One thing I want to say is, if you are looking to get better at the Moskva, and you are, let's say, playing solo, I would probably not recommend this as much. But seeing that there's only 2 or 3 ships here, I think this isn't a bad decision going in to the middle. Just be wary that you do have a very large turning radius, and when you do turn, you have to be very careful about who you're turning and showing your broadside to. Nice 5k salvo with, I believe it was AP, Let's see who will finish this Grozovoy. Shots out. A few more hits, only 1,000 damage, so it looks like Slap is not going to be getting the kill here. Maybe we can... Oh, maybe we can get some fires on that. Friedrich doesn't look like it. Pops defensive fire for the friendly Iowa. Not too... Let's see if we know what his AA range is. It looks like... Yep, he does go with AFT. So he's got 8.2 kilometer range on that one, which is good. I don't know what I have on my Moskva build, but of course AFT, improving your AA, that little bit does help quite a bit, especially with things like defensive fire, because had he not had AFT, that Iowa might have been in some trouble with Tier 9 carriers. Even though T9 carriers against a T9 battleship, they should be able to get off a decent strike. You know, they can still do a lot of harm. Pushing into B, Kurfürst probably has his Hydra up, so no real threat of getting hit by torpedoes here, but in any case, we're going to be pushing into B. At this point, I would say I would probably switch to AP here. You got a broadside Iowa, and you can actually do quite a bit of damage. Not necessarily Citadel him at this range, although I can't say that it's never happened, but I'm sure Slap wants to get a fire, that initial fire, and then switch to AP. The way that I look at it is that you know, you could be doing 10k salvos here, and upwards of 10k salvos, and then when he starts moving, he can and starts angling, you can then start melting it with HE. As you saw there, he did switch to AP after he got that fire, so just as I expected, and he was doing around an 8k salvo. So it's just a matter of, you know, how you pick your targets, and a lot of times too, a lot of battleship players will actually damage count one fire, and a lot of times they won't. It depends on the quality of the player too. So just something to keep in mind. Friedrich goes down due to Slap's fires. Defensive fire is on cooldown for another couple seconds. I don't think he's gonna. He's probably gonna pop it for these, and these planes are just gonna start melting. That torpedo is not gonna do much. Of course, you can't see it in the replay, but he is control selecting these planes just to get that additional AA DPS boost. More bombers coming in. Again, he's in smoke, so they can't really see him. But with defensive fire still going and 2 carrier fighters going right above, I think he's pretty safe from that. The Moskva has not the best AA, but decent if you do end up speccing into it. Most of the AA DPS, I believe, is from the mid-range, so within that 5.1. I believe a lot of the longer range aren't too good in terms of average DPS, but they do go out to 8.2. So the nice thing about the Russian radar is things like this. You can end up having spot a Des Moines before it can get detected by its surface detection. One thing you have to be careful about with Des Moines is if they start shooting AP at a broadside target like this Moskva, then he can actually get a lot of citadels. And one thing I do want to mention, I didn't realize that it was a cyclone. I just completely was oblivious. Radar coming in from the Des Moines. This is a dangerous position. If the Des Moines has AP loaded, this could be near death. But Iowa giving broadside, had that been before the last patch that lowered the Iowa Citadel, those would have been all Citadels and he would have been dead. But Moskva or Yamato still has that slightly higher Citadel, so he's gonna get Citadeled all day long. Just waiting for this Iowa to pop up. Breaks the gun, nice. Gonna switch targets to the New Orleans. Gonna go through that front magazine. There's 3 Citadels. He's most likely going to do it again. Again, through the nose. Ugh, bounces. You see at the angled indicator, he was shooting at about 34 degrees and was still getting pens. Unfortunately, the New Orleans turned in that last second there, and a few more deletions. New Orleans is dead. While we're not going to be getting Citadels on this Bismarck here, we are going to be doing significant damage with normal pens. One thing I do want to point out is if you aren't confident in shooting at the superstructure or the mid belt on things like a Bismarck, you can, or any battleships for that matter, you can also shoot at the aft end or bow ends of the ship, because those are 30, I believe 30 millimeters. This Des Moines is playing it completely wrong. Should have been shooting AP. Kami Samurai gets a Kraken unleashed. He is going to try to ram, I'm sure. Des Moines could have been using AP there. See another 10K. You can shoot right through that the butt of the Kerr first, and most battleships too, and get a lot of good pens. Another 8.5K salvo. Secondaries are going at it, but the game sadly ends. Alright, so looking at the post-battle results, we finished the game with 212,000 damage, 20 planes shot down, 2 ships killed, 11 Citadels, 2 of which were on the Yamato, and the rest were, I believe, on the Des Moines, and a few on the New Orleans. 7 base defense, 1 assisted base capture, and 32 secondary hits to finish it all off. 500,000 credits, 8,000 XP, Devastating Strike, Confederate, First Blood, and High Caliber. All were the medals for this match. Team score 2.8k base XP. Something that you don't see a lot in the Moskva is CQB, close quarter combat action in the Moskva. So it was nice to see that you can do a lot of good damage and be a very strong cap contester even in the Moskva, despite some of its downsides. One thing I want to mention is Kami Samurai did get a Kraken, and he was just below Slap, and Neltec unfortunately died, but he ended up doing pretty well in terms of base XP. So congrats to them and good job, guys. Looking at the damage distribution, we had 40k to the Friedrich, which was nice, 41k to the Des Moines, which was nearly a devastating strike in terms of just damage, 30k to the Iowa, 26 to the Bismarck, and you can see it just goes down the line. HE 40k, armor piercing 137, again not too bad, good damage numbers. I would say that's probably, you would want to be doing around that ratio in terms of AP to HE damage, but again, it depends on the situation. If there's a lot of bow and battleships, then of course you'll be having more HE damage. Fire damage was around 30k. Potential damage was not all that much, around 600k, but Kami Samurai was taking a beating. You saw there he was on somewhat low health as well, so good job from them for taking the damage like battleship should. And then finally, credits and XP, T10, who said you could make money at T10, 200 grand. That's a nice takeaway from a T10 match. And then XP is XP. It doesn't really make a difference at T10. The only thing you would be using it for would be Commander XP, which again is all very nice and dandy. If you guys did enjoy this replay, please give it a thumbs up. If you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.